Annette, Eddie, thanks for coming today and talking to us about what happened to your mum when she was put on the LCP. What I'd like to ask you first is, what was your mum's name? And will you tell us something about what sort of person she was? Eddie, would you like to start?
Yeah, my mum's name was Margaret Smyth. She was a week off celebrating her 80th birthday. She actually died on my birthday, which was the 23rd of August 2012. She was sometimes grumpy, but most of the time loving, caring. She was her own woman. She was very independent, even though she was in a wheelchair due to strokes, but she got on with stuff. And she liked to think that she was in charge. She always had a word for everybody. She was a good woman.
Thanks, Eddie. Annette, is there anything you'd like to say about?
She'd certainly put you in your place. If you was wrong, she'd tell you you was wrong. She tried to do everything herself, but the little things that she couldn't do, she'd ask, which she didn't like doing most of the time. She was stubborn at times, but other than that, she was always there. My mum's house was like a meeting point where we'd all get together and have parties for her birthday or New Year parties and celebrations. And it was always somewhere where we could go for coffee mornings. It was like the central of the family, being at mum's.
The heartbeat of the family.
Yeah.
What were the events that led up to her going into hospital?
I'd gone one morning, she couldn't get a breath. We give her a nebuliser, we put her on oxygen, still nothing, still couldn't get a breath. She was frightened to death, she didn't want to go to hospital, but I said I'd hold her hand, I'd be there with her.
Why didn't she want to go to hospital then?
She never liked the hospital. She always thought that once you were in there, you were never coming out. She was really scared of the hospitals, and it took a lot of persuading to get her there. We phoned for an ambulance, and they wanted to take her in, and then it was discovered that she had a collapsed lung, and they was going to insert a drain and re-inflate it.
Were you at the hospital by this time?
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
I'd gone with her with the ambulance.
So they weren't doing it at home, no?
So she wasn't on her own, and as soon as I got to the hospital and got
Yes.
mum settled, then I phoned the rest of the family to come down. She was never left on her own. If one of us had to step out, then there was always somebody else there. They put her onto a ward where they put a chest drain in, and then she was making good recovery.
Just at that point, what had been said to you by the medical staff at this point? Would you like to perhaps say?
The medical staff had said she was a little bit weak because of the dysfunctional lung, if you like, with being collapsed. But they also asked me whether she'd been in any kind of fall or whether she'd fell out of bed or anything like that, which I thought was a strange question. I asked them why they asked me this. They said the reply was because the nature of an injury, if you like, to be a collapsed lung, is usually a forceful or impact injury. That's what collapsed the lungs. And I said no, she'd never fell out of a chair, she'd never fell out of a bed. I asked the family and they said the same thing. So we didn't know what they were trying to drive at, whether they thought there was a little bit of abuse maybe or something like that, which I wasn't very happy with. They actually, put her on some antibiotics straight away. I had a word with the doctor, and the doctor says, yeah, we need to get this chest drain in. It'll make her breathing easier, because she was like panting, obviously because she was working off one lung. And then, everything seemed to be going well. She was making good progress. She was eating. She was drinking. They moved her on to, is it
H2?
H2, Ward H2.
And what's Ward H2 about?
H2 is, I suppose it's like a chest ward.
Oh.
Anything to do with the chest or breathing?
It was, they put in a little side room. Very warm in the rooms, if I remember rightly. It was stifling. You just had a little window you could open. But yeah, they came round and they were saying how good she was doing, and that they'd be ready to take the chest drain out. Eventually, they did take the chest drain out and said to us everything's fine. It's it's reinflated, there's no cause for concern, and the
breathing was back to normal.
Okay, what were the staff like to you at this point? What was their attitude? Tell me what they were like.
They was very nice. They was friendly. They couldn't do enough for you.
And for your mum?
Yeah, for mum, and they were in and out every 15-20 minutes checking obs.
Stats and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing was too much for them to do, If I said, oh, mum needs turning, or can we get mum out of it? Oh yeah, we'll get somebody in to help you. There was really, really nice, weren't there?
Yeah, they were fine. And she was doing great, like I said. When she got moved onto the ward on the Tuesday, was it? On the Monday afternoon, she spent the rest of the time up until the death on that ward.
On the chest ward?
On the chest ward, yeah.
Can I ask you what was the hospital called, do you want to say?
It was called Salford Royal Hospital.
Right.
The NHS Trust in Salford. It's a Foundation Trust hospital.
Okay.
So, it's quite a big hospital. And it's the new part of the building where she was. Lovely, beautiful, the way it's been done. Like Annette said, the staff were great. They were brilliant. Anything you wanted, they'd give you. And it was only when, like the Tuesday, the Tuesday after the Sunday when she was taken into hospital, then we started to, think, yeah, great, she's coming home. And she was looking forward to her birthday. It was going to be her 80th birthday.
She wanted a big party.
She wanted a big party, which we were going to give her.
She wanted me to take her out and buy her a dress. I need to go out and get a new outfit for my party, and everything was planned. We'd booked a table in a restaurant for us all to go for a meal.
So this is a person who was about living, being alive.
Oh, yeah.
And you were a family that was about her being active, being alive, looking forward to the future.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
And
it
what
was
happened then?
It was good. It was, we actually, one of the things that she used to say to us, I just fancy a nice holiday. So she'd have, me or one of the youngsters run out to the shop for her to go and get a nice holiday, because it was that warm in the rooms. And she'd sit there and she'd go, oh, that's lovely that. Get me another one for after. I've got nowhere to put it. They don't have a freezer, it'll melt. But what it was a Calippo, so it was in the thing, so it stayed icy quite a long time. And she was, she had fruit, she had chocolates, she had all sorts, didn't she?
Every night when we left her, she'd have it all piled up on the table, ready to stuff her face watching the telly over night time.
And, at that point she was at it, you can go now, I want to watch some telly.
So were you glad that she seemed to feel safe and okay, having been somebody who was worried and didn't like to go to the hospital?
It was comforting to see that she was getting used to the environment, even though we didn't expect her to be in there long, because she was making such a good recovery. I'm going towards the end of the week, she was great. It was good.
So
she was
between
eating,
Tuesday
drinking.
and the end of the week?
She was great, making a good recovery. The girls used to go down through the day, take her off the ward, take her around the hospital, just to give her a bit of exercise and stuff. It's horrible being stuck in a room. So we asked the nurses permission and said, yeah, get her out. It'd be good for her to get out.
We'd take her a walk through the hospital to the cafe, and there's like a little a row of shops inside the hospital, where you can, like a little mall. And she'd go and, I like that dress there, or I like that jumper there, and then we'd say, well, come on then, let's go and see how much it is. So she'd love it going down there. She'd take me to the mall, she'd say. And we'd go down there, wouldn't we, and stop for a cuppa, and she'd fill up on her snacks from the shop and go in the clothes shop and treat herself to stuff.
So she was like normal again. All we was waiting for is the discharge form for them to say, yeah, come on, she can go home now.
And do you think she was ready to go home before the Friday?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
we knew because she was back to her normal
She was back
self.
to her normal self, yeah. You know, she was saying to me, come on now, I want to get home, I want to see my dog. You know, she was more worried about her dog than she was about us. You know,
so we surprised her on the Saturday because I said, we've got someone coming down to the hospital to see you. And she went, who is it? I said, I can't tell you. But you need to get out of bed now and we'll take you outside. We took her outside and my partner was there with the dog waiting and she was over the moon. She went, I'm coming home. I'm coming home soon. She said, I know you miss me, but I'm coming home.
And this was the Saturday.
This was the
Saturday morning, yeah.
How had the doctors treated you? How many had you met?
We didn't.
Up to the Saturday.
No one.
No, the nurses came in and checked blood pressure and.
Now, whether the doctor had come round after we'd gone or because I didn't really see a doctor.
No, we was there most of the day, and if we wasn't there, another member of the family was.
Who dealt with her lung?
You know, she was having X-rays. They brought the X-ray machine up to the room a couple of times, or she'd get out and go down to X-ray for that. The doctor, like I say, I mean, it's a big mystical point here because an actual specialist wasn't really involved at that point. We didn't, I don't recall seeing him, even though his name was above her head. I don't recall seeing him.
So were his juniors dealing?
I think it was his juniors or his, as I call them, co-pilots. That's what I name them. Understudies, yeah. And I'd seen one of them, and they said, "Yeah, she's doing well." Now, we didn't know at the time, but they were looking to discharge her on a Saturday.